Hello everyone, I'm Robert Hisee. Most of you will know me, but for you that don't, I'm the UK's #1 unconscious mind therapist. And welcome to the MindKite podcast. Anyway, I'm Robert Hisee, everyone, the UK's #1 unconscious mind therapist, joined with the wonderful Tony Truman, man. I've been looking forward to this one. So it's only people saying it's interesting because I've had your partner on Wayne the other week. It was a good one, talking about his how he started and vision. So I was right looking forward to see your story as well, mate. You know?
Yeah, cool, no problem. Ask me anything you like.
Lovely, thank you. So thank you. How did you get into the Trudeaus? First of all, you know, you started off with the club promoting, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I started off. You know, I think my journey's quite well documented. I started off when I was 15, which was really, really young. You know, when you look at sort of today's standards of people.
15.
15. It was when I first. It was actually when I got kicked out of school when I was 15 for a period of time before they eventually let me back. And one of the things was I wanted to go to the big party the school were having, and I wasn't allowed to go to it. And so I ended up sort of organising my own party. And a lot of the kids sort of came to that. A lot of the kids came to my party, and it was a complete sellout and everything. I had an amazing night, and I loved it.
What music we talking there? What was it then?
Well, it was more like a riverboat disco.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I can't say it was anything glamorous or anything.
Yeah.
I think the DJ was called Raymond Rainbow. He had bright ginger hair and like a rainbow stripe over the decks and stuff like that. It was very, very different. It was all
the ball on the top spinning round with a light on it. One of them.
Yeah, it was all like things like, you know, ska music, madness,
blinding.
All that sort of music of that, you know, that sort of era, really.
Yeah.
We weren't sort of, you know, DJ led and music led like the culture is now. So it was very, very different. And then literally a month or so later, I wanted to go to. I was a massive Wham fan at the time. And Wham had done the Club Tropicana video in Ibiza. And the video had just come out. And I was like, Mum, I want to go there. I want to go there. Look at this place. It looks amazing. She was like, you're too young. You're too... I said, please. So for our summer holiday that year, she took me to Ibiza.
Oh, what a blinder.
Yeah, she took me when I was 15 with one of my pals from school. And we went and we met these older fellas in the hotel, these 3 fellas from Essex. And they was like 3 years older than us and a bit more clued, well, a lot more clued up.
Yeah.
So they said, come to this party, come to that party. And they took me to, well, it's now privileged, but it used to be called Coup Club, right? It's very famous back in the day. And it just absolutely, Rob, blew me away. I can remember what I had on. I remember the whole night. And it just blew me away. And from that moment, at a very young age, I actually knew what I wanted to do. I come home and I said, Mum, this is what I want to do. I want to do my parties. I want to do parties.
And you was only 15 there. That was it. Boom.
I was 15.
So when you was in there, you just got the vibe of it. You was like, that was it. It was just like a light bulb moment.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was like a proper chavvy English tourist. I was. Do you know what I mean? I was there in a little Wham. I think I had a vest on that said
England.
I love Ibiza, herpes forever or something. One of those slogan t-shirts that were out at that sort of 83 days. Brilliant. I remember meeting this bird in there, this Welsh bird, and kissing her in the pool. And my mates turned around to the bird and said, "You know, he's only 15." And that, I'll leave it out. And,
bubbled you out.
And I just had one of the best nights at such a young age. And I just thought, you know, this is what I want to do. So literally, Trudeau's was sort of born.
When was your first? How old was you done the first Trudeau, Tom?
15.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I didn't actually call it Trudeau's. It was just like Truman Party. The actual Trudeau's name came a few years later. I must admit, I didn't give it the name Trudeau's. It was just known as the Truman Party. And then I went and done one with one of my best mates' brother. We hired like a little rugby hut at the end of the road there. And not a scout hut, so at the end of the road, I remember we paid 100 quid for it. And the geezer goes, "Oh, here's the keys. Give us it back in 24 hours." We couldn't believe it. So we were doing
straight through.
Yeah, we were doing like parties, literally £5, drink what you want, you know, to sort of 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Terrible, really. And done a bad taste party, and it just sort of, you know, carried on from there, really. And for many, many years, I sort of just done rugby huts, school halls, local village halls, and things like that. I sort of didn't turn it into a proper business till much later in life.
Did you work in, but after that, then you sort of done a bit of graft and stuff?
Well, I had to. Yeah, obviously, I had a very, very short-lived hairdressing career, believe it or not. And then one of the fellas tried it on with me, so I chinned him and walked out of the salon. And the very next day, I got a job as a hog carrier. So
blind. Yeah, back when the odd was about, wasn't it? Yeah, you can't do it now, can you? My old man was like Carrier, yeah.
To talk about diversity, but you know, at the back of that, there was always the parties there. But I needed to have an income to substitute that. My dream there. And my current girlfriend at the time, her mum said to me, "Tony, you've got to give up this idea of trying to do parties. You'll never have a future." Wow. It's really weird. You'll never have a future in it. So I said to her, "Sylvia, what do you want me? What do you think I should do?" She said, "I think you should become a postman." Right? And I said, and ironically enough, Sylvia, my ex-girlfriend's mum, she came to my 50th birthday 2 years ago in Brighton, and I had this big, elaborate, fancy party, and I went up to her and I went, "I'm glad I wasn't a postman."
Blind, did she remember saying it?
She went, "Oh my God, yeah," she did remember saying it, yeah.
That's
so
quality.
Yeah, so brilliant.
And how did you how did it start getting bigger then, Tom? How did it start going from like a bit of a fun thing to you creating it as like, right, that's it now? When all the chips were down and people were saying, "Look, be a fucking postman, mate. There's nothing in it." What was did you still see yourself as? Did you still see it working? You still had a vision in your mind of?
Yeah, well, what happened? I think we sort of really kicked off properly. I went to work in Gran Canaria for a few years and out there, and I sort of dabbled in doing a few little parties, working with a couple of mates who were promoters, and then I come back to England, and a friend of mine had a wine bar, and she wasn't doing very well with it at all. She was doing really, pretty bad and everything, and I had quite a big following, and she said to me, "Tone, do you want to? I'll basically give you my bar. You can pay me." She wanted X amount. Back in the time, I was 24. She wanted 25 grand for it, which felt like a lot of money at the time. And I said, "I haven't got 25 grand. She just said, "Listen, pay me off over a couple of years." So she gave me this wine bar. And literally from the very next day of me taking it over, it was just packed out, rammed all the time. So on the back of that, I'd done a massive, great big party with an ex-business partner of mine, a guy called Tony as well. Me and him done this massive big party called A Breath of Fresh Air. This was in, I think, 1992, something like that. And that was the first sort of when it was an amazing party, absolutely out of this world. And that's when it sort of the big party scene kicked off for me then, really. 92, that would have been sort of just after the acid sort of era, wasn't it? That sort of was, yeah. It was on the back of the acid thing, really. With the acid scene, I was still doing parties, but I was doing. Oh, that's what I was doing. I forget. Do you know what I mean? I was doing boat parties. Up and down the Thames. I was doing boat parties up and down the Thames when all the acid house raves were going. Oh, but that was quality, wasn't it? Yeah, I was doing boats, and then we had some nightmares from boats. One hit a riverbank, another one the sound system crashed. When we was 3 hours out of stream, and so we had to come 3 hours back down the Thames with no amp and everything. And it was just but that was fun. So they sound good. They sound involved in that scene, but not in a way of booking like all the big famous DJs at the time. Well, I'll be honest, at that time they weren't really superstar DJs. They come a little bit later. A bit later on, yeah. Yeah. Did you remember the shift then from sort of acid to when it went sort of acid house, then it sort of moved into the house scene? Is that how it worked? I'll tell you what the biggest thing was I noticed was a change, right? And I think it's been shown in a few films. Is I used to be mad into football, and I still am. Still a big Chelsea fan. And I used to go, and I was brought up in an era when there was all the football violence, it's all the big gangs and stuff like that. And not that I was involved in it, but I was, used to go to football, and we used to have a little punch up or, well, I'm near war, I know what about that. And all stuff like that, and there was a lot bigger players in it than obviously me. And a few of the boys started doing a few of the raves back then. And I remember going to a few of the raves, and suddenly all these people who were fighting at football, they was all loving each other. They was all loving it. It was all, doing what they're doing, getting on the little fellas, and suddenly everyone was loving each other. Yeah. And that, honestly, there was a film out which I watched not long ago, and I saw the two people in the club, and that's exactly how it was. People stopped hating each other and wanted to bash each other up, and they started cuddling each other and wanted to go into business together. Brilliant, isn't it? And I was very lucky to sort of be on the back of that and sort of, see that scene happen. And, I was just a punter at most of those dudes myself then. So that reminds me of a film about the Happy Mondays and that as well, when it all sort of changed up mansion. There's a film, I can't think what it's called, but it was the geezer that started the Hacienda Club. Yeah. That's a good film. That's a similar sort of thing, where it was all sort of all the gangs and that, and then the little fellas come in, and all of a sudden it was all love, and it was good. And that very much changed. And we're talking back them days as well, when no one had, there was no mobile phones, no internet. Yeah, all us promoters used to have a little black book of names and numbers and stuff like that. It was just, yeah, very, very, very
back
different.
back on the phone, you had to go like that with and wait for it.
Yeah, I did. Every time I've done a party.
Remember that fucking thing?
Yeah, I used to literally go around my mates' houses and put like envelopes under the door and stuff like that and inviting them. And but funny, even now I'm actually old school. I still do a flyer for my party. I don't know, even when I do my Trues Do's now, and I'm just planning my Christmas one at the moment. Brilliant. And I still get, one of the big enjoyments I get is actually coming up with a funny flyer. Yeah.
Quality. Because it was back in the day, you had to go and paste it on the walls, didn't you? And all that, on the little walls
all
and
stuff. All the fly posting and all that stuff, yeah.
There was no posting on the internet. It was all actually going out doing it 2 or 3 hours a night, walking around the streets, wasn't it?
No, that's it. Yeah, a bit similar to DJs. They didn't carry about a memory stick then. They used to have a trolley about a great
I remember my mates used to.
Yeah, it's evolving times. The world's evolved. You just got to learn to evolve with it.
With it, that's you've done that all right. I mean, how did you go from the Trues into Ocean? How did that kick? I know Wayne told me a story about using Marbella once, having a little chat in a pool or something along those lines.
Yeah, what happened? I was doing me and one of my business partners, Tony Wheelchair. We was for 3 years. We was out in Marbella. And we were sort of doing big parties there at one of the big Playboy mansions out there. But we was bringing over, I think the first year we took over 500 people. The next year we took over 1,000 people. The last year we took over about 1,500 people from England. We were hiring planes, hotels and everything. And these parties came pretty sort of famous down there at the time. And I didn't actually know Wayne. You know, I'd heard of him, of course, and he'd have heard of me.
Right, definitely,
but you know, because I used to work in Tenerife and all when I was younger. But ironically, our paths had never crossed.
No, didn't it?
So then I've gone into. I was with Brandon Block at the time. Me and him were out on a bender, and we've gone into Lineker's bar, and Wayne's there. And I said, "Oh, we're going to Ocean Club tomorrow. I'm doing a party at Ocean Club tomorrow. Come down." So that's when the original Ocean Club there. And Wayne came down the following day, and he's turned up and he's got in the pool. And I said, "Mate, we should do a Lineker's. You've never been to Ibiza, have you?" And he was like, "Nah." I said, "Mate, come to Ibiza. Let's open up a Lineker's bar there. Let's do that." And he was like, straight away, "Yeah, let's do it." I said, "You know, Ibiza's the place." I said, "I've got the perfect venue." So literally that winter, me, him, and his son flew out to Ibiza. I showed them the venue, which is now currently Lineker's. And because I've been in Ibiza, I had a villa company in Ibiza doing some renting out villas and doing villa parties and things like that since about 2000. This was now about 2007. And so then we opened up Lineker's, and it just went from day one. It just absolutely
took off.
You know, it was a bit different to how all the other Lineker's were. I think at first Wayne tried to implement how the other Lineker's bars
would have been natural,
dancing and like all these songs and all that. But Ibiza had a lot cooler edge than maybe some of the other places. Yeah.
Was it a bit more laid back sort of thing in that bar, would you say, or was it a bit more?
Well, I wouldn't say it was laid back. I think the people in Ibiza are obviously more into their music. And where Lineker's always has been a fun pub and always will be
for
a
the
fun
sport,
pub. You couldn't really in Ibiza sort of play the Birdie song, for instance. Like they used to play at Tenerife, and the place used to go off. In Ibiza, people were a bit more sort of
serious about the scene.
Yeah, a bit more serious about the scene. That's the right wording. Yeah.
So how did it go from there into the O Beach? How did that come about?
Then what happened? My mum used to always come out and spend a fair amount of time with me in the summer, and we used to, obviously me have been in the beach for a long time. Used to always walk about, and where the Ocean Beach site is now, I used to always walk past it. You couldn't actually see it because it was an old Spanish restaurant, and then there was another Spanish fish restaurant on the side, and just a giant big car park. And I used to climb over the fence. My mum used to say, well, Mum, I want this place. Oh, you won't get it, and all that, So then one day I climbed over, and there just happened to be this fella in there. And I said to him, this old Spanish guy, I said, "Is this place for sale?" "No, not for sale, not for sale." I said, "Please give me a number." So I managed to get a number off him. Anyway, I've got, I'm very, very lucky. One of my Spanish best friends out there, he's like a fairy godfather to me. I went to him because he's a real, very powerful individual in San Antonio. And I went to him and I said, "I like this place." And he says, "I know the family all of my life." He said, I hadn't even told my partners this yet. I just wanted to go and do it. And
you knew. What was you sitting visualizing in your head? What did you envision when you see this place? Could you see it all there? Could you
saw it all? basically what you see now is what I planned out in my head. Really,
even
much,
even when there was just
it's obviously evolved with extra
yeah,
seating.
of course, all the jazz and that.
The dance floor, the bar, all of that. Obviously, we did work with a graphic designer helping us putting it all together. But at the time, you know, I think then what happened? I basically done a verbal deal with the guy through the thing. So then I went down to my partners and I said, boys, I think I've got us something. And literally 2 years previously, we'd all been involved in a nightclub that went disastrously wrong. And we lost all of our money in it, you know. So obviously we'd massively had our things burnt. We'd burnt our reputation as well. And I said, boys, I've got another project. They're like, Tone, no.
Drop me out, Tone.
I said, yeah, basically, Tone, drop me out. And I was like, no. I said, come and see this and what I've got here to do. So first of all, I took Dwayne down there. I think me and Dwayne do. And me and him went down there, Wayne's son. And I took him up on the roof and I made him climb over the fence. So I've got the video actually. And I said, what do you think of this? And he was like, he was a bit lost for words. And I said, we can do that there, we can do that there, and all that. And he's like, oh, I don't know, mate. And he was going, yeah, well, you know, trying to talk him round because, so then I got Wayne. Wayne came out. Wayne wasn't there at the time. And Wayne came over, I think, a week later. I said, Wayne, come and see this place. And Wayne's like me. He was like, love it. We'll smash it. Let's do it. And then the other partner, Tony Wheelchair, he was like, okay, yeah, we have just lost a lot of money, but this is so unique. You know, and I think to have a successful venue, I've always said this: location is key, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
location is key for anyone who's thinking of opening up a business. Like with Boho, when we had the disaster with the club, we was literally 50, 60 yards the wrong way of the roundabout, and it can be that sort of smaller margins that can make a difference between a really successful business.
That's quality. Do you know what I'll do is, as I say, I'm an unconscious mind therapist, and I always model in the mind of success. So like, there's always like, everything gets made twice. Yeah? This is what I always say to people. Yeah, if you look around, anyone at home now who's not been on here before, not seen me before, look around your front room. And what I'm saying is everything's been made twice. It first got created as a thought, as a vision inside the mind. Then it got created outside here as a thing or an object. Yeah. So if you look around your front room, or if you're sitting in a garden, look outside. Now there's one exception, except for what comes from nature and the earth in its original form. So except for trees, plants, cats, dogs, wind, rain, sand, snow. See if you can find me one fucking thing in your room now that would never started as a thought in a human's mind. And you're going to find there's nothing. You know, there ain't a fucking wallpaper tree. There's not a jumper tree. Like, they're thoughts. Thoughts literally become things, as they say in the secret. And if you look outside, every building, every country you look at, except for what comes from nature and the earth, the bricks, the mortar, the tiles, the windows, you know, it's all created from man inside of brain, first of all. So everything gets made twice. And I'm saying, and what I've been doing over these weeks is sort of trying to show people that you have to create what you want inside here first as a clear image. Like, that's why when I heard you say I got over the fence, I was waiting for it to. I knew there was going to be an image somewhere, and you said jumped over the fence, and I could see it. I could see the whole thing. Boom, there you go. Now it's created, and once that starts to form, and you can't get it out your nut, it ain't like you see it once and then it happens. Of course it don't. That'd be magic. But you have to see it again and again and again and again, and then it will start. It will start to show itself.
And it's funny you say you're dead right there what you're saying. And I had that sort of thought of how Ocean Club is now, Ocean Beach now, right? When I was 15, when I went in that coup club. And that was like, so I'm talking sort of 35 years later, no, sorry, whatever it was, 30 years later, that sort of dream and vision I had then was
coming to life.
And it's just a thing that basically, it's never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. And even when I had all those failures, at the back of my mind, not that I knew it was actually going to be Ocean Beach. And
but you knew it was there.
I knew that was there. What I wanted to do was something very, very similar, right? And that's all about not giving up on your dream and your belief. Because if you've got belief and you can make one other person believe in your belief, then you can make a whole group of people believe in it. Then you've got something special.
Definitely.
And you really have, and it's belief.
And when I study like the mindset of successful people like yourself and Wayne, like Wayne, into the first time he had a vision, he was walking down the market in up north and in Birmingham way, walking down the market, and he's with his dad and that. It was all coming to an end. He said, I was trying to think of something off my brother's name. It was like Wayne Rooney the day, and I was thinking, what can I do on the back of my name, Lineker? And he said, I remember walking down towards the cafe and boom, the image popped in. We had Lineker's bar. And he said, I see this image of how it was all going to be set up. And that was exactly how he see this, how the first one started. And
yeah,
then,
you know, and that's what you got to do, you know. Everyone sort of dreams, and it's whether they sort of, you know, live them out.
Stick with it.
Stick with it, and it's not easy. It's not easy, you know. I think trouble is nowadays, people want to go into business and things and come up with ideas, and
they get one knock and that's it.
They're all about wanting to make a fast buck, right? If you make a fast buck, it's usually not right, you know. Yeah,
you're going to lose a big buck.
And also, you've got to, I think, before you have success, you have got, I know it's an old cliche saying, you've got to have failure, right?
Yeah, definitely, %1,000,000%.
If you don't have failure, you don't realise what the success is, you know.
And don't you think it teaches you the tools as well? Like I say to people, there's no such thing as failure. There's only information. If you look back at what fucked up on, it's only failure if you walk away and give up. If you look back and think, right, how did I fuck this up? What did I do wrong? Right, there's the information. Let's reframe it and go again. And that's the difference between looking forward to failure or looking at it as your friend or your enemy. I mean,
that's right.
There's a school just over near Dartford there, yeah. And these people approached me and I had a chat with them, and they've got some award now. They've got from some psychotherapy thing and all that. But what they're doing to the kids now, when like in the first year of school, 7, 8 year old, I'm guessing. I think it's actually old school now. Actually, what they're doing is when a kid is learning something and he does it wrong, instead of teachers going, "No, that's wrong," they clap it. They go, "Well done," and the kid going, "I've done it wrong, miss," and they're going, "Yeah, but that just means you're learning." So they keep like whenever they go on that lad, like I know I was gonna get it. So so sort of like, you know, you're learning. That's well done. So they're praising the kids for making mistakes to give them the emotional sort of drive to keep not worrying about it and feeling fearful. You know what I mean?
And I think too many people want to see people fail now as well.
100%.
And it's such a sad trait in life, you know. And there's too much jealousy and stuff like that. You know, we're big advocates of other businesses, other clubs and stuff like that. And we always want to help each other out, really. And, you know, it's no point in having resentment. We want other people to do well. You want to see people do well. But I think too many people now like, they didn't make it, flash gear or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a bad psyche to have.
But don't you like, I've seen you was in California on your ground with your mum at Beverly Hills Hotel and all that, yeah?
Yeah.
Don't you think out there that there's so much the opposite? Like, you go for a run, and someone saying, "Go on, man, bro, keep going, you can do it." You don't even know the geezer, and they're like encouraging you. Like, they just got that way. But over here, it's like, look at that prick running. What's he thinking? You know what I mean? Look at the state of it, you know what I mean? It's like...
Well, I must admit, I do look a prick running.
Don't we all know? Don't we all?
But, like, you know, the thing is now also, I think we were very lucky when we when we sort of got O Beach. We were lucky in the sense that it was the explosion of the social media and a time of an era, really. I think ourselves and Ushuaia and everything, we really sort of were at that point where suddenly Instagram and live videos like this all kicked in. You know, before there was like the Facebooks and the you know, whatever there was before that, I can't even remember. And but soon as Instagram really sort of everyone became a paparazzi. Yeah. Everyone became a videographer and show off. And they were amazing. We was part of that. We was like the catalysts for those people using those tools with O Beach and Ushuaia and stuff like that, really. And we were very lucky.
Like instead of, as you said, instead of like to put your cameras away, you like bring them out, have a picture. And I think the good thing with videos is different than pictures is that it captures the feeling, doesn't it? It captures the emotion. So it wants to pull you to it. So I know when I look at the ocean, when you posted them throughout the year and you see everyone hanging off of cranes and football players, like, it looks amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
but sometimes it can be over the top, though. I must admit, there was a clip going out of a party in Ibiza last year, and everyone at the party was literally holding their phones up, right? Yeah. And then they looked at a party back in like the early 80s where everyone was just dancing and have a good time. And it did make me think, actually, the connection between people is a little bit...
it's become electronic, the connection, yeah.
But I must admit, this lockdown, I think, has eradicated a lot of that. Even people who are on their phones, though, are people communicating again.
Yeah,
even your next door neighbours, when you're going out clapping, like, you know, tonight, you end up talking to your neighbours, where years ago, no one would have even bothered communicating.
I've noticed walking down, I go for walks 2 or 3 times a day, a little run or whatever. When the But people in the street now seem to be going, oh, all right, moving out your way. Everyone's smiling. I've never seen so much good manners at the minute. I mean, some areas they're saying the opposite, but around here, I'm going for a walk. People all sit on their drive, waving at you, saying hello and all that.
But talking about like this being about minds and things, it's mad, right? Obviously, what's going on in the world at the moment and everything like that, right? But people's minds and appetite for Ibiza is insatiable. It's incredible. The amount of people, even now with what's going on and there's no flights just yet and bars and clubs aren't opening, the amount of people contacting me every day, when can we go? When can we go? It's they want, and it's that belief. It's that belief in doing something that.
My pals in the boys group, they're like that. Can't wait to get to that beach. Can't wait to get to O Beach. Like you see it everywhere you go, people know O Beach. It's like probably biggest famous club in Europe, isn't it? I'd say, but the most famous, most definitely the most Instagram club, isn't it? You know what I mean? So that made me laugh though. Last year, I mean, I had your friend Dean Gaffney on my retreat. I got a body of mine retreat in.
I bet it was free. I bet you didn't charge him.
Nah, of course not. Nah. And we was laughing when on the last day when you and Wayne get at it with each other, wind each other up.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking funny. I was in tears with that one. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. The world is so politically correct now.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like you can't say these things and everything. And to be honest, I'm old school. I'll say exactly how I feel. Don't worry about the consequences afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Wayne love taking the piss out of each other and having banter. You know, it's just what it
makes
is.
the partnership work, doesn't it? As well, I suppose.
Yeah, of course it is. Listen, life's all about the good times.
And what's the plans for the future now? I know you're stuck now, Tom. Any other things coming up? Anything we can be looking out for people? I know you've got Dubai. You've got Dubai, haven't you?
We've got Dubai, but we've had to sort of obviously just postpone that for the time being. Yeah. It's still very much going to happen and everything like that. But, you know, it's got to be at the right time again at the moment. The time's not right. But, you know, we've got our Bamboo Coo beach club, which is a kid-friendly beach club that we've come up with a concept for, which is opening next door at O Beach. That's going to be good. You know what? And this period of time, you know, right at the beginning, we said, what have you been reflecting on? I've actually been reflecting on the past quite a bit and also what's important to me. Where a couple of years ago, I wanted to have a beach club in every part of the world. I did. I wanted like literally 20 of them, one here and everything. But this time, I must admit, over the last 2 months, has given me time to reflect on it a little bit and thinking, do we need all those places? No, not really. It must admit, it will be really nice to have one in Dubai and maybe one in one or two other places. But I think that drive of me wanting to have 10, 20 of them has gone now.
Yeah.
You know, you can only sit in one place at one time. Can't and all that. I think just be happy with what you've got and be good at what you've got. I think that's the sort of key.
Would you ever think of America or anything? They'd love it, wouldn't they, the Yanks?
Yeah, we would. We were very close, actually. A couple of years ago, we had like a deal on the table for Las Vegas and everything.
Oh, blinder.
I think, you know, and I love America, and I think it's brilliant out there. I just found the music a little bit all over the shop.
Yeah.
Going from hip hop to house to
R&B, they do swing it about,
everything like that. But sometimes if you spread yourself too thin, you can dilute the main thing that you've got. And Ibiza is our, you know, that's the golden egg.
How was it when you met Conor McGregor, bruv? I see that one. That was a blinder when he walked in the club after the Mayweather fight. I remember going looking twice when he was all posting it.
Yeah, well, that's mad, you know, at the time.
You didn't know he was coming to the morning, or did you? No,
we knew for a few days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry. A few of his mates were ringing us up trying to have an earner out of it. But we already knew that he was coming. We had people ringing up saying, "Oh, give us 20 grand, we'll bring Conor McGregor." We said, "He's already coming.
He's already booked it."
Loads of people were doing that, you know. Yeah, Conor's one of many. We're very lucky. We get a lot of really good sort of celebrities in there who are always very gracious and humble and always support us. So we're very lucky. And we, you know, in return, we give them a really good time. We always sit there, have a laugh with them, make sure they're protected and stuff like that. And
that's quality.
Have good fun.
Quality time. But yeah, so thank you very much, mate, for your time. I really appreciate it.
I thought you was going to ask me some right deep in the head questions.
I don't make it. I don't make it right heavy, mate. I'd rather just like sort of see. I'm just more about trying to show people some positivity, and like whenever I've had a celebrity on us, you know, I always just like to talk to them and point out, you know, about the visualization thing. So anyone's been following it to see that it's all about making everything twice. I'm just trying to get people to focus in the right direction. you know what I mean? I'm not like
Don't you think? Don't you think though? After this lockdown or after this thing's sort of gone away a little bit, that people are going to be a lot more focused. I think it's given a lot of people.
You're going to see both.
Time to actually think. You know,
definitely
sitting about, staying in their homes, not travelling, not on the move, not in their cars. And I think, you know, but just before this, all of this, I was having a few little problems with my daughter and everything. You know, like a teenage daughter, like you would.
Yeah.
But this has been such a leveler of everything, of realising what's important. You know, I think out of this, even, you know, God, it's terrible, all the people have died, of course it is.
Yeah.
But I think also there's going to be a lot of good come out of it, you know, and that's
100%.
And I wanted to, me personally, not drinking for a long time and getting a little bit healthy, I wanted to come out of this with something good. So when in years back, I look back and reflect on that, I went, well, that was a really good time, actually.
Good time, yeah. And I think there's a lot of that, like people, like as you say, the kids are going to remember it. Like, remember that time when we spent months and months with mum and dad, and you know, we was with them all the time. They had that close bonding, because if you was at work, we'd be missing out on all that. So I think, you know, kids are going to get a lot of good memories out of it. You know, as you say, people reflecting, but there is always the other side, because you've got the people that are focusing on what they don't want, who ain't naturally forward thinkers like yourself. You've got people that, you know, that schooling education. You're like me. I left school young. Wayne, Dapper, like a lot of people I've been speaking to left school. Dame Kelly Holmes was shit at school, but a lot of people get that school mentality. The more you're academic, what you seem to find is the schooling system teaches us how to think about what we don't want.
Yeah.
So not to make mistakes. And we end up getting programmed that way. The more academic you are, the more you're putting problems in front of you and trying to solve them before they happen.
Of course.
And then what happens is you get in that way of thinking, and you start looking at the past problems and putting them in future again, which is anxiety. And then you're trying to, I don't want this to happen, I don't want that to happen. And people end up in this fucking fearful state. And then once they sort of lose that ability to focus on the future, they're now just thinking on the past. And at the moment, if you're not going out the fucking ass, you're stuck indoors, and you ain't got no future goals, you've got nothing to look forward to when this is over, you ain't created no new you, then you're going to be thinking of the past, which is depressing. If you think about how good it used to be, that's just reminding you in the present how shit it is now. So if you're overweight and you think, like these dickheads put these things on the fridge, getting on these dietitians, put a picture on the fridge how good you used to look. That's mental. Because if you're fat and you look back how good you looked, right? You go, no, what? I know I felt good back then, son. What are you saying in the moment? You're saying I look shit now. I had so much energy back then. You're saying I'm a lazy bastard now. So whatever you're looking back and reflecting on in a moment, it's a negative feeling. You might smile with your conscious mind, think, yeah, I was a good sort back then. But unconsciously, you're getting a low self-worth feeling. And if you think about...
I've never had one of them pictures to look good. I've always looked like a fat bastard, even when I was younger. So I can't ever pin one of them on the fridge.
You're too busy looking forward, though.
But you're right. But also, you know, you look back at the last time, not the last time there was anything like this, but the last time there was a major recession, there was some very creative businesses like Airbnb, Uber. All that were born out of the last sort of times when things were bad. I think out of, you know, this current lockdown and everything, there's going to be some good new businesses. We've got one we're bringing to the market. So I can't say at the moment.
Can't say it yet.
Well, you know, you got to keep yourself busy a bit, you know.
This is what I'm talking about. What you're saying now, keep yourself moving. I've been at Joey Bullard about 2 weeks ago. Even I've gone into landscaping. I love doing my garden. He's gone like, it's just that people that think forward and that succeed, they just naturally have to jump on that bandwagon. And this is the big picture I'm putting out, because a lot of people now are in the thing. There's a lot of people out there worrying about this corona. All they're focusing on is this coronavirus, and they're blowing it up to even worse than we know it's bad. But I mean, the fear they're creating in some people, that when they go back to work, or when this sort of does come to an end, I think we're going to get a lot of people suffering with that sort of like post-traumatic stress side of it. You know what I mean? The people that don't think future. Because, as I say again, this academic type, and it all goes back to like the schooling system. I'm not saying the schooling system is bad. I mean, we've got to be educated. We need academic people. You know, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is they do take away the visualization. They do take away our dreams a little bit, because there's nothing creative. Like when you've got a kid at 4 or 5 years old, right? What do you want to be? I want to be a footballer, Dad. I want to be a rocket man. I want to own an ice cream van, right? They put them at school. They put them into the first year of school. All of a sudden, they're allowed in a little nursery. They're allowed to fucking play with colouring sticks, you know, plasticine. All of a sudden, they get to the first year. It's like, stop drawing on your book. This is how you spell. This is how you write. This is how you colour in. And you've all got to do it the same. And if you don't do it the same, I'm going to mark you as an F. And the little kid goes, "What's an F?" And you go, "A failure." And the kid don't want to be a failure. We'll do as you fucking told you. Do it all. Everyone's got to be the same person. So how is that? Where's the creativity going to get in the kids? It's getting knocked out of them because you've got 1,000 kids in the school, all have to be the same person. If they don't, it makes them feel like they're stupid or a failure. But I understand it. We, the world's designed. We need workers, and we need to get a job and a safety net. But we also need to have the vision to want to achieve and to move on. Do you know what I mean? And this is what worries me with the academic intelligence. They're taking away this vision. So that's why I'm trying to really push it out there. To like, don't. It's
all about the vision. I'm a big advocate on that, of people having visions and all that. And I find sometimes, but I think a lot of people don't really realise that now. I was lucky to, have a bit of a vision at 15 and at a very young age. But I think a lot of people start when they hit 30. I've always sort of said this. So I think when people in their sort of teens and 20s don't really give a fuck and they're doing what they're doing.
That's when I started really focusing.
I think when you hit, especially when you hit that, it's like with women when they hit 30. Tend to have that sort of, about the wanting kids and all that. They start thinking more about having kids. I thought you
were going to get saggy skin or something.
I'll get killed if I did that. That's the 30-year-old women I know. No, but I think about 30 is when you start really knowing what you want business-wise, and you think, shit, I've got to sort my life out because the next big birthday's 40. I don't want to be sort of...
I do think, again, it's to blame the schooling system because they're so full of fucking fear. As I say, you've got that kid... When they're 4, what do you want to be? I'll be a rocket man. I want to be this. You give me a kid at 18 when they leave college. What do you want to be? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, Uncle Robert, like my nephews and that, because they're so full of fear now. Because the way they program us through school is how not to make mistakes. So when kids come out of school, they're scared to make a choice in case it's the wrong fucking one. So they're not going where they are, what they're enjoying. Like you found a passion. You're like, no, you know what? I can feel it. And you went with something you love. Now that could be a doctor or a nurse. It could be a cab driver. It doesn't matter what it is. But you've got to find what you like. Like a lot of school teachers I've spoke to, I go, what did you become a school teacher for? And a lot of them have got no vision at all. They go, well, I was good at maths, so I thought, no, I left school. I thought, what can I be? I thought I'd be a maths teacher. That was it. But then you get the teacher who, like, since she was a little girl, wanted to be a teacher, and she's the teacher that you're always going to remember, that makes you feel good and talks to you and spends that time with you. So it don't matter what it is, but I think people have got to find what makes them tick. And
I think people have just got to try and the main thing in life, be happy. Be happy.
Yeah.
I've always said this, they say, how do you measure success? And I say between getting up in the morning, in between going to bed at night, doing as exactly as you please. Doing something that you're passionate about and you really, really like.
Because success is the effect of it, isn't it? Success is the effect.
And try and make that into a career. Because if you can make that into a career, what you're passionate about and what you love, then it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I must admit, I never think, oh God, I've got to get up tomorrow and go down the club or do this or that. Right? I'm very fortunate in that.
I ain't got to go work all them birds in bikinis, ass music pumping. Fucking hell.
How could you complain about that? I must admit, on the odd occasion I was like, oh, I can't handle that. I can't handle it. It's funny, the girls.
I bet it does wear you down sometimes.
It's funny, the girls in my office, right, are brilliant. We always have such banter. They sit there and they do an amazing job, and especially this winter, all the social media team where we haven't been open, kept everything alive. Gemma and all her team, amazing. And every sort of 5 days a week, I end up getting on the piss in the club, and. I walk out the door of the office, I come out of my office, they all go, oh, what, you going again? I went, here we go again. And they're all like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. And then I walk out the door and I think, I don't know how I fucking do it either. But if you love it, if you're doing something you love, right? It's like footballers, they love playing football, any sportsmen, they love doing what they're doing. If you can find a job in your life, right, that you're passionate about, it doesn't matter about the money, the money will eventually probably come. It'll come, right?
Yeah.
But you just go out and enjoy yourself.
And that's like, it's just the same as what I've got into. It weren't, as you said, I started learning about the mind and stuff. And where I come from a council estate, I had nothing. I had low self-worth growing up. Like, I used to think, like, my mates would have a Next Tracksuit or Benetton. I used to think it was like fucking Dolce & Gabbana. I'll be down East Lane Market. Yeah. So my low self-worth growing up was the thing when I started learning about the mind that I realised I don't want no one else to feel like I did as a kid, even though you didn't act it, but, inside you did. So once I started working on my mind and you sort of made myself, reprogram my sort of mind, I thought, this is what I want to do. And now, it's like you said, I can work, it don't matter if it's a Sunday, what time of day it is, it's stuff. I don't go to work. I actually had one day, my missus, she done me some shirts. This is gospel truth, right? She ironed me some, now she's ironing my clothes for me. She's ironed me some shirts. She went, I put your work shirts up there. All of a sudden, it was like she might as well punch my mum in the face. I called her a slut or something. I went to her, what did you just say? I might understand. I don't know what happened. I went, I don't go, I ain't fucking work shirts. What are you talking about fucking work shirts? I don't go to fucking work. I wear them if I go to work, if I fucking go out. She said, all right. What are you talking? I'm doing you a favour, minding your fucking shirts here. Do you know what I mean? And I remember thinking after, fuck me, but it does. Like when you're passionate about something, you don't feel that. Like when I worked for 9 to 5, when it was clock out time, 10 to 4, I'd be like that. Fuck that 10 minutes took forever. And there was one of the overtime. I just go, fuck that. No, couldn't wait to get out and go and play golf.
That's what you want to do, you know.
I don't want the overtime. Done me nothing. But now I could work all the time because it ain't work. You know what I mean?
Right. And I know there's a lot of all this going on at the moment. There's a lot of negativity about people aren't going to get their summer holiday, summer's over, this and all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, to be honest, from the very start, I've always said, listen, a positive mind has a positive outcome, right?
Yeah.
And I've always believed, you know, loads of people on here who see all the messages flicking up constantly, asking whether Ocean's going to be open this summer. Is Ibiza going to be open this summer? At the moment, it's obviously the great unknown. No one can predict the day and everything. But I believe it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah. And I think it'll be around about July time. I think things will gradually start opening back up, the clubs and things like that, the beach clubs and whatever. And there will be, it won't be Ibiza as we know it, as we well know. It'll be a bit, but nice to experience the island is a different way instead of the full-on madness like it is. And like I say, positive mind, positive outcome. And I think out of all of this, everything's going to be fine.
Blinding. Now, good on you, Tony. And thank you very much for the positive words of wisdom there, man. I really enjoyed it. It was really inspiring and opened people's eyes to see how the journey went, you know. So I really appreciate that.
No problem.
Everyone listening, remember that. It's all these guys I've been having on, you can see they're all talking about the future. Most of them don't even realise they focus in this way all the time. Like Tony said, all right, it's good to look back. Like he said that, Bullard, I know he said to me, I focus so much on my next thing that he was on one of these shows one day and they started playing his career to him and he said, fuck me, I forgot I'd done that. And he said it was really good to look back for a change because his natural mind process is to keep creating, and then the effect of that is happiness. Do you know what I mean? The effect of moving forward.
And also, listen, everything that we've done and we've got, you can't do it without good people around you, right? Yeah. I know myself and Wayne get a lot of the plaudits and stuff like that and everything. But, you know, all of our partners, all the people who work behind the scenes, from everyone involved in all of our business, you know, we pride ourselves on being a family and everything. And I think that's important. It's not to try and, you know, it's to delegate and let people, we try and get people the freedom and they run their own business within a business.
In a business,
business within a business. And sometimes people or business owners, they hold on to things. They don't want to let them go. They don't have trust in people. You've got to, you know, we've seen some amazing people who started off with us as like, you know, glass collectors and now bar managers and things like that. And it's so important, so important to give people opportunity and everything. And I think one of the best things I can say about being in the position that I'm in now is the help that you can give others. Right? And what you can do. And that's my sort of satisfaction and enjoyment. I love seeing that. I love seeing people really love doing what they're sort of doing. Like, you know, we've had a guy work for us from Senegal who's a real proper character. His name's Amadou. And he was just like, you know, like an old looky man. And he was a glass collector for many, many years. This year he was going to move up to the events team and stuff like that. And just the thrill that it brings to him and his family.
Oh, you can only imagine.
Yeah, honestly, and that's what I really get my satisfaction out of.
And that's class, Tone.
Happy days.
Mate, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and talk to me.
My pleasure. It's been lovely.
Really appreciate it, mate. Really do. And I hope to see you in Ocean hopefully this year. Pop out there.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be there this year.
Tone, thank you, mate. You're a proper gentleman, honestly. God bless you, mate. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.